going on, everybody? David here, back with another live stream. Thank you guys all for stopping by. We're going to get started in 10 minutes, so we're starting 10 minutes early, and I have my, over here, my little clock, and so I like doing it better this way. That way I can get everything situated. I know everything is working properly. You can see me, you can hear me, all that good stuff. You guys see down below here, we are doing a giveaway right after the show. This will be the last $50 giveaway until we have some more funding. So if you guys don't know, I use my stimulus check. So I had $1,200 stimulus check, just like most of us, and I just loaded that up on my Cash App, and that's what I've been giving away for the last couple of months. And so now we're down to the last one, and so and that'll just be for now. We'll figure something out. I've done giveaways in the past, but I've never done a $1,200 giveaway in 2 months. So this is the first time, but we'll be doing this one over in the Discord. So you need to join the Discord. There'll be a link to that. And let me pull that link up. Like I should always have this prepared, but I don't. I should just have it somewhere. You know what? I think let me see here, because I'm never prepared with these links here. So I know I saved it. Is it here? No, it's not there. Give me 1 second here. I think it's... No, that's not it. All right. I thought I had it somewhere where I can easily grab it. Oh, yeah, I think it's here. Nope, it's not there. But it will be on our Discord later on today. So you guys want to stop by there, and right after the show, I'll go over there and we'll do a giveaway. That way you'll have a chance to win $50 on your Cash App. So let's see. I need to pull it up because I cannot find it. Really need to be better prepared. If any of you guys, I believe you guys can post links. I know Miss Happy Apple can. Thank you very much, Miss Happy Apple, for being here. But if you go into any of my videos in the description, you'll be able to find that link. So I don't know if individuals can do it, but if someone's asking in the group, because if I'm in a conversation, if I'm talking about things, sometimes I won't get that message until later. And so if you do see someone, you can post the link. And that way, people will be able to get that link so they can go over and take a chance at winning. Well, I guess, not everybody's going to want people to go over there. I get it. Because less people, better chance of winning. So I understand that. But where is it? Here it is right here. Here is the Discord. So we'll put that in there. We're going to start the show in about 6 minutes. We have our little countdown clock up there. So we're just getting everything ready. So if you need to run and get coffee, or I don't know who would be getting coffee this late, but if you need to run and get a drink or something like that, now is the perfect time for you to do that. And let's see here. I think I can. All right, there we go. And let's put that down here. All right. So hope everyone is having a very good Sunday. Yeah, there's the link there. Yeah, hope everyone's having a good Sunday. And I just pretty much ran errands today, and that was the bulk of my day. And then of course I did some research here. And so what are we going to be talking about? What's on the table today? We're going to listen to Mark Meadows. He was on Fox News Sunday earlier today, and so we'll listen to some of the stuff he talks about. He talks very briefly about the vote yesterday, and so we'll get into some of that. We're also I want to show you guys, this is a great video. CNBC, this gentleman did a really good video on the stimulus checks, PPP, all this money. Like, where is it coming from? And you always hear this, like, yeah, we're in a deficit. So where is this money coming from? And he really lays it out exactly how that how we get money, basically, because yes, we're borrowing money. So how do we get it? So he does a really good job of explaining that. And I'm not an economist, and when it comes down to money and how we get money and all that stuff, I don't know much about that. And I watched this video a few times, and I encourage you to watch it a couple of times just so you can really get a grasp of what he's saying. He just lays it out, and so it's good, and so we'll understand. Okay, stimulus checks. This is how we get them. This is how we get the funding. You have politicians right now talking about we don't have any money, and this and this and that, and why we shouldn't be adding to our deficit and all this stuff. And he pretty much lays it out and explains kind of the dangers of doing what we're doing and where we are right now. Well, he doesn't really talk exactly where we are right now, but where it could go bad. So do you invest? And we'll talk a little bit more about it after we watch the video. I'm saying too much already. And then we're going to talk about the skinny bill. I'll talk briefly about the skinny bill. I put out a video earlier today, and I want you guys to watch that video. It needs views. It needs views. So if you guys can go over there and watch that video, I'm not going to talk too much about the details of the skinny bill. And that's mainly, well, there's two reasons for that. I want you guys to watch my video and hear my rant so you can hear kind of how I feel about this whole thing. And then this is going to change. This is not one of those things where this proposal is going to go anywhere without major changes. And so we already know that. So it's kind of, it's important to know what's not in the bill, because if it's not in the bill, it's really not on the table. But it's also important to know that, yeah, this is probably not going to go the way, there's going to be so many changes. So if I tell you certain things in there, you're going to be like, well, what happened to that? Or you said it was this amount. Why is it not that amount anymore? So we'll see what happens September 8th. That's when the Senate comes back. And so when they come back, then we can talk about it more then. But right now, it's a little premature to really discuss it because it's probably not going to go very far. Thank you, Diane, for watching it. I appreciate that. We have some members in the house, so if you guys don't know, you guys can join our membership. So we have 2 levels right now. Walter, what's going on? Walter Wayburn, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. He's a stimulus check YouTuber. You guys want to check him out? He's got really good content. I think he lives in Florida. So I don't know, where is the hurricane right now? I know that they were talking about a few different hurricanes. I didn't have enough time to really look into that. Of course, in California, that's not one of the things that we have over here. We have earthquakes. We don't have, or we have fires too. That's one of the things. It's crazy, right? Hurricanes, fires, earthquakes. There's just so much stuff. I haven't had an earthquake, knock on wood, in a while. But right now, California is Northern California mainly is dealing with these wildfires. But anyway, stay safe, Wayne. Good to see you, buddy. All right, so as I was saying, we have memberships. So join the membership only if you can afford to. This is one of those things, like if you do not have the means to afford to join the membership, then please don't. But if you do join the membership, you do get custom badges. And these custom badges, if you see, Lori, what's going on? Good to see you. If you see Miss Happy Apple, she's got that little brown, or it's actually bronze. It's like an emblem, TEC emblem. Larry, what's going on, Larry? And DJ, they all have those little emblems. And so as time goes on, so as the months move on, those emblems will change colors depending on how long they've been a member. So that's one thing you get. You also get custom emojis. So you have emojis that no one else has. And I'm going to start updating. I have about 4 emojis right now. I'm going to update and get some more emojis as well, because I think I can get like 5 more right now. And then you get some private stuff. We have like a private Discord that I'll be opening up. We're going to do private live streams. So other things like that, where a private live stream, there'll be like maybe 10, 15 of you guys in the room. So you guys can really pick me apart. I plan for it to be more of just kind of like just a hangout. It's not going to be one of those situations where we're talking about stimulus stuff, unless you guys want to talk about that. It's just going to be more of just, hey, what's going on, and just kind of talking back and forth. So that's the plan. Maybe even bring on some people if they want to come on. This is private, right? So it's going to be a private a private thing just for members. But if someone wants to come on, we can, do a Zoom call or what have you, do a few different people on there. Just have fun with it. So we'll be doing that once a month. That's for members, for the top tier members. All right. So we got a lot of activity in the chat right now, and we are down to zeros. So we are officially going to get started. So let's go ahead and get started. What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys all for stopping by. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for stopping by the live stream. We are going to talk about like 4 different stories, actually 3 different stories, and then I have a good, it's a story that I just discovered, a video that I just discovered, and I thought I lost it. And so the fact that I didn't lose it, I want to show it to you guys. This is exclusive. It's of me, okay? It's exclusive. So this is the first time that I'll be showing this. And yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end of the live stream when I show it. But it was a very exciting time for me. And so I want to share that with you guys. But we're going to listen to Mark Meadows. We're going to listen to him first. He was on Fox News Sunday. So we'll listen to some of the stuff that he talked about when it came to the postal funding and that stuff. And then we'll of course, I'm going to be in that little up in the corner there, and I might jump in if I see a need to, and just kind of explain to you some of the things that's going on. Now, if you guys don't know who Mark Meadows is, Mark Meadows, he's in the negotiations right now. He's chief of staff for the White House, and I know it's kind of weird. He's the chief of staff of the White House. He's negotiating for the next stimulus package. It makes no sense because that's not his role, but nonetheless, he's there as a negotiator with Stephen Mnuchin. So they're representing the White House, and then you have Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer representing the legislators, because Mitch Mcconnell is not in the room, which is very strange. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way it is. So basically, you have the White House negotiating with the Democratic legislators for the next stimulus package. So that's who Mark Meadows is. We'll listen to him in a minute. We're also I'm gonna show you a video of a gentleman from CNBC. He's not from CNBC. He says where he's from. I can't remember the company he works for, but he's on CNBC, and he's talking about the stimulus checks, PPP. Where does this money come from? So that's what, or how are we getting this money? We're in a deficit right now. How are we getting this money? I think he lays it out really nicely. So I want to show this video. Just gives us a better idea of what's going on, and are we really in trouble right now when it comes to our deficit? Can we accrue more? What's the word? Can we take on more debt right now? And so he talks a little bit about that. He doesn't give us an answer, yes or no, or anything like that. But he does talk a little bit about how we, inflation, how inflation happens. When it comes to the economics and stuff like that, I didn't do well in economics in college, okay? I was a political science major. I'm really good on, when it comes to politics and things like that, but the whole economic side, financial side, that's not my strong point. So this is a great video. This is great for me. I watched it a few times just so, I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. It makes sense now. All right, and then at the very end, we're going to show that video, my exclusive video, so we'll do that. All right, so before we get started, let's give some shout outs. Born Beauty Star, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. She is a member. Thank you for being a member. Let's see. DJ, I said what's up to you already. Thank you for being here. Gene, what's going on? Thank you for being here. Now, I would do everyone in the room, but there are a lot of people in the room. Larry King, what's going on? Thank you for being here. Sherry, what's going on? Thank you for being here. So just giving some shout outs to the members. And there's so many people. If you want to ask me a question, I will give you a shout out if you ask me a question, of course. Just put @TEC, and I'll go over those questions once we have some time between these videos. Okay, so we're going to play the first video right now. We'll listen to Mark Meadows, and then we will listen to the financial, we'll watch CNBC. I can't even think. I don't know. You know what? Okay, let me stop first. That 3-hour session yesterday, that live stream, was crazy. And And I don't know if any of you guys have done live streams before. I know we have some YouTubers that are in the room, but doing a 3-hour live stream is very taxing. It really wears you out. And because you have to be, you're constantly doing things. And you guys have seen my setup before. If you haven't, go back, watch that video, that live stream I did last week. Was it last week? I believe it was last week. Yeah. I think it was Saturday. Yeah, I think it was Saturday. But anyway, I did a live stream and I showed you guys my whole setup so you could see all the stuff. So it's not just, I'm not just looking at a camera. I'm looking at a camera. I have a big monitor in front of me. I have another monitor on the side here where I'm looking at my chat. Then I have another screen up here that's playing something else. And so doing that for 3 hours, it's just like, I've never flown a plane before, but there's just so many things going on. I can imagine, like, if you're in a plane, you're just constantly looking at different things while you're trying to focus and talk at the same time. So let's go ahead and play this first video here, and then we'll move to, we'll talk about it.
On your plate, the House yesterday passed a bill to give the post office $25 billion more to end any of the operational changes, all of this to make sure that people will be able to vote reliably, safely, securely by mail in the November election. Why would the president say he's going to veto that?
Well, Chris, your premise is not correct. The $25 billion, largely messaging bill, because it's going absolutely nowhere, has nothing to do with voting. It has everything to do with a political statement. Here's how I know. Because in the privacy of the negotiating room, I offered $10 billion plus reforms for the Postal Service that actually they've been asking for a long time, to Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And when we offered that, there was another thing that came along with that. The Postmaster General said he was willing to pay whatever overtime was needed to make sure that we deliver the mail on time, first-class mail, which includes mail-in ballots. So it was not an issue 3 weeks ago. Here's what we do know is the Speaker said she wasn't willing to do anything piecemeal, and yet we have a piecemeal piece of legislation on a Saturday. Why didn't she come in and do enhanced unemployment? Why didn't she do support for small businesses? Why didn't she come in and do money for education and daycare? I mean, if we're going to be serious about this, let's get serious about it. And hopefully what will happen is the Republican senators will take this bill when it comes across, they'll amend it and actually address many of the things that are hurting America right now in terms of this pandemic response, and be able to get it to the president's desk.
All right. So that was a lot, right? He was saying a lot in that short period of time. So let's unpack some of this stuff. Obviously, I didn't write anything down, so if you guys want me to elaborate on some other stuff, just let me know in the chat. But the first thing that really raised my eyebrow is no stimulus check, no stimulus check. He didn't say anything about stimulus checks. He talked about, yeah, we can come back to the table. We can talk about this. We can talk about that. We can talk about this. No stimulus check was ever discussed. So when it comes down to it, and you saw how he kind of, the bill that was voted on yesterday was $25 billion. And then he said, well, look, we came to the table with them and we were trying to negotiate and we were going to give them $10 billion. Okay, so they're asking for $25 billion. You're going to give them $10 billion. So, yeah, there's a difference in money right there. So that might be the reason why they didn't take it. And then the whole piecemeal thing. Okay, the whole reason for the, and I'm not jumping on, Pelosi's side. I'm looking at the reality here. The reason why they went ahead and did something when it came to the Postal Service is because it's very time sensitive. People are starting to get their absentee ballots, and we're talking about doing the vote by mail. President Trump is the one that's bringing up the whole issue where he doesn't think that we're going to have a fair election because the Postal Service is not going to be able to operate. So all that stuff going on, yeah, you know what? President Trump's making it an emergency, so it looks like it is an emergency. And because we know that people are starting to receive their mail-in ballots and their absentee ballots, yes, let's address this now, because if we don't address this now, we might not see any money when it comes to the Postal Service. The Postal Service might not be able to operate fully in November, and that's going to be a huge problem. So the takeaway that I'm getting from this, yes, they did discuss this. The HEROES Act did have funding for the Postal Service in it, but the HEROES Act is nowhere to be seen. The Senate is not addressing that. And so, like I said, what's interesting about what Mark Meadows is saying, and this was what was probably holding them up, which we don't know what was going on in the negotiating room, but he's not saying anything about a piecemeal deal with a skinny bill, a piecemeal deal with a stimulus check. He's not saying that right now. And yes, that would have been a problem if you were coming to the Democrats and saying, yes, we want to do a skinny bill, piecemeal. We want to put enhanced unemployment. We want to put money for schools. We want to put money for and there, he didn't even say anything about the eviction moratorium, but we want to put money for the eviction moratorium, money for PPP, but no stimulus check. Well, yeah, that's probably going to be a non-starter. And so that's what was interesting to me, that not only do we see a skinny bill that came out yesterday, and I guess I'll just talk about that now since we're on the topic. We saw, or it didn't come out yesterday, but there's a draft that's out there now with the skinny bill, and we see that this GOP skinny bill. So basically what happened is you had the Democrats coming back, rushing back, like he said, rushing back to the Capitol and voting on this bill for $25 billion for the Postal Service, and then they also want them to pretty much get back up to full capacity, right? So get back up to where they were January 1st of this year. So all the cuts in the removal of machines and mailboxes and stuff, they need to bring those back. So that's where they want them to be. So that's what the House Democrats wanted to do. And then what happened is the Senate Republicans, some Senate Republicans said, well, look, we need to create a skinny bill and put that proposal out there. Put the proposal out there. That way we have, I guess this is something that is to work with, I guess. I don't know. I don't know exactly what they're planning on doing with the skinny bill. Obviously, they're going to present it to the Senate, and then they'll see where it goes. But in that skinny bill, there's no talk of a stimulus check. And now we have a draft of it so we can actually see it. Before, they were just talking about it. I mentioned it last week when it was just kind of going around. There was a rumor that there was no stimulus check in there. Well, now it looks like there's no stimulus check in there because we see the verbiage. Now, they can change. It's just a draft at this point. So they could change it and add a stimulus check. I highly doubt it, being that a stimulus check for stimulus check like in the CARES Act is going to cost about $300 billion. And they wanted to keep this skinny bill around $500 billion. And so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a skinny bill with a $300 enhanced unemployment. We're looking at a skinny bill. I got my little list here with funding for PPP. So their funding for PPP is, they always have funding for PPP. They even do extend more money for PPP. They'll do separate sessions just for that, which we saw them do in late April. There's going to be money for schools. Now, I'm not going to give you like exact amounts when it comes to money for schools. I know it was 100, maybe 105 billion, but a lot of this stuff, this is a proposal, so a lot of this stuff will change. They do have on here $10 billion for the Postal Service. And right now, Kevin McCarthy was on the House floor yesterday, and he's like, yeah, you know what, the Postal Service, they have $14 billion already. So they're not broke. But I think and this is one of those things where, we talk about a crisis. We weren't talking about the postal. I mean, the Postal Service, there's always been problems, right? Because I remember talking about this back in April, in May, talking about the funding that the Postal Service needed, and that was what they were when they approved the HEROES Act, that was part of it. It was Postal Service funding. And at the time, I remember mentioning it. And I talked to someone who actually works at the post office, and they're like, yeah, you know, there's certain things that the post office has to do. They have to have a certain amount of money on reserve for retirement or like pensions. And there's different things that they have to do where they might have money, but they can't use that money. That money has to be set aside. And so it's interesting, you know, Kevin McCarthy, if you don't know, he's the minority leader of the House. And so he was just going at it and saying, yeah, they have money and this is they're making a crisis out of nothing. Well, realistically, President Trump is the one that made this a crisis because he started talking about our elections and how they're not going to be fair and all this. Well, if that's the case, and we already know we're sitting in a situation where a lot of people are probably considering vote by mail or considering absentee ballot. So if that's the case, well, then we need to make sure that our post office is fully funded and ready to take on this, right? Just like if there's a situation where we feel, you know, that we're going to be attacked by another country, then all of our resources are going to the military, right? Because we need to make sure that we're capable of handling that situation. Just like when we go to wars and things like that, we make sure we have enough money, more than enough money, in order to handle the situation. And so with the Postal Service, it's the same thing. We're only going to have one election. We can't postpone the election. And so we need to make sure that the money's there. So anyway, yeah, Kevin McCarthy was on the floor just talking about, well, they already have money and all this. I'd rather be in a situation where we have too much money than not enough money. So have too much money for the Postal Service right now. That's fine. As soon as the election's over, then you reevaluate everything. Just like the postmaster, he came out and said, okay, look, we're not going to make any more changes. He didn't say that they're going to go back to where they, where they were before, so that the levels they were before. But he did say we're not going to change anything else until after the election. So it's fine. In my mind, it's fine to have extra money for the Postal Service for right now. After the election, then you reevaluate everything. You can always move money around. The money's in the government. It's in the government. We know that it could be moved around. So I don't see that as being a huge problem. They're talking, the Republicans right now are talking $10 billion. The Democrats are talking $25 billion. Put $25 billion in there. And if you don't spend $25 billion, then that's fine. Then take that $15 billion out and move on. So that's just my opinion when it comes down to it. Money for testing. So that's something, obviously, testing, therapeutics, all that kind of stuff. That needs to be the focus, definitely. So it's good that the skinny bill has that in there. Liability protections. And so we kind of talked a little bit about that. So the liability protection will be in there as well. But no stimulus check. No stimulus check at all. And some people might say, well, yeah, you know what? They're using this as a negotiating tool just to bring the Democrats in, and the Democrats can offer a stimulus check. Well, really, do you want to be that party that says no to stimulus checks? Like initially you're saying no, you're actually using stimulus checks as a pawn. So you're using the people as a pawn. Like, okay, well, these are the things that we want, but we don't really care about the stimulus checks. Like either they can be in there or not be in there. Like, do you want to be on that side, or do you want to be, representing the people and saying, no, stimulus checks will be in there. We'll haggle with something else. So that'll be that'll be interesting to see where they go with it. But yeah, that's where we are. Skinny bill. Yeah. We'll see what they do with this. I think both of this proposal, the skinny proposal, as well as the funding for the Postal Service that was just approved by the House, I don't think they're going anywhere, and that's unfortunate. And we also have to look. And there's been a lot of talk, and I see polls that are going out, different people doing polls and stuff like that, about who's to blame. Like, who's to blame right now? Is it the Democrats? Is it the Republicans? Is it the president? Is it all of them? Like, who do we blame? And I think everyone is to blame. Our government is not working the way that it should be working right now, and that's across the board, whether it be the president, whether it be the Democrats, whether it be the Republicans. They're not getting along. They're not working together, which, I mean, we're all working. We should be working for the people. And that would mean that even if you don't get along with someone on the other side, you sit down with that person on the other side for the common good, for the people, right? And so I would agree that the government as a whole is just not working. And you do have a lot of divisions that I have never seen before in our government, at least not at this level. There's always been some division, but you have politicians that will they'll still work together because they know ultimately we all rise, right? But you do have certain parts of our government right now that are really, really just refusing to do things. You have the Senate right now. They're refusing to do things. They're refusing to look at bills. They refuse to look at the HEROES Act. They're probably going to refuse to look at this postal funding, the $25 billion. They're probably going to refuse to look at that. They have not approved anything through the Senate yet. So you have the House. They approved the HEROES Act. They sent it over to the Senate, died. They approved this Postal Service funding. They'll send it over to the Senate. We'll see what happens with that. The Senate has not done anything. They are holding everything up right now. Mitch McConnell is the leader of the Senate, okay? He is holding everything up. They're not getting anything done. We're not getting a stimulus package. Why? Because the Senate has not approved anything. All they need to do is approve something and send it over to the House, and now it's in the House's court, and now they're going to have to deal with it. But right now, everyone's looking at the Senate, and they're not doing anything. And what I have a problem with is when you send everything over, or when the Senate's not doing anything, and Mitch McConnell's not sitting in the room for in the negotiating room, how is anything ever going to get done? Because now Mitch McConnell's calling up Mark Meadows, who's the chief of staff, shouldn't be there, but he's there. Stephen Mnuchin, he's calling them up and saying, hey, what's going on? Where are we? You should be in that room, and then you'll know exactly where we are. So, it's a breakdown because we have the White House that's taking the role that Mitch McConnell should be taking. The White House should not be this heavily involved in our negotiating right now. They just shouldn't. And if they are, it should be at a presidential level. It should be at the elected official. If he wants to take part, come down, sit down with Nancy Pelosi, sit down with Chuck Schumer, and then have Mitch McConnell in the room and then all negotiate. That's the way it should happen. That's not happening right now. We're not seeing that right now. And so, yes, we're going to have people that are just going to be like, oh, no, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and just saying things, but they're not elected officials. On the other side, it's not you have Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, elected officials. The other side, there are no elected officials that are doing the negotiating. And that's why nothing's getting done. All right. Let's see. We're going to show one more video. This one's about 4 minutes. And this is, this gentleman is explaining basically stimulus checks, PPP, all this money, like the funding, how we pay for this stuff and how we are pretty much, increasing our debt. But is it worth it? Should we be doing stuff like this? So let's go ahead and check this video out.
When most people think about printing money, you think about a printing press. The images of printing presses going wild with dollar bills shooting off of them. The reality is quite different. It's all done digitally today. We live in a digital age. So really, money is just numbers on a screen. I'm currently a vice president at Altamont Capital Partners, a middle market private equity fund based in Palo Alto. And I'm currently on a mission to demystify the world of finance through storytelling. So one of the most common questions I get today, where does all this money come from? You've got stimulus checks, PPP funds, Main Street lending program, all of this money being pumped out into the economy. But where does it come from? You can go crazy with the details of figuring this all out, but it's really quite simple. So let's dive into it. Most people assume that government funds all this spending with taxes, that they collect taxes and then use them to fund these programs. But the reality is actually quite different. We run a deficit, meaning we spend more than we bring in. So then where does all the money come from? Well, in simple terms, we borrow it. There are really three key players to be aware of in this dynamic: Congress, the Treasury Department, and the Federal Reserve, or the Fed for short. Congress jockeys over the legislation and authorizes the bill for a $1,200 check to all of these people. They pass it along to the Treasury Department. So the Treasury issues bonds, bills, and notes, which are essentially just IOUs. They're issuing a promise to pay back the borrowed money later with a little bit of interest. The buyers of these IOUs, who are providing the loaned money, can really be anyone: individuals, institutions, sovereign governments. But the big one that everyone talks about today is the Fed. And the Fed is an interesting buyer here because it has a magical power. It can actually create the money. But we're in the digital age. So when we talk about money printing, which everyone wants to talk about today, it's not the money printing that you know from historical examples, Weimar Germany, where they were printing money and putting them in wheelbarrows to take to the people that needed it. So the money printing that the Fed does is digital. Essentially, they can simply click a button on a screen and credit the Treasury Department with the money, purchasing the IOUs, purchasing the bonds and T-bills, and credit the Treasury with the money. The Fed then holds those IOUs on its balance sheet as assets, and that balance sheet has ballooned this year to over $7 trillion. So the clear worry here is about inflation. Inflation really occurs, in simple terms, when you have too much money chasing too few goods. We don't really have that problem today. Much of the funding that went into the market, the stimulus spending, the government programs, is being used to plug a hole that existed due to the pandemic. However, the concern is that in future, if the government does not know when to pull back on all of these programs or pull back on the size of the Fed's balance sheet and its money printing activities, that you may have a situation where there is too much demand and not enough supply, which leads to prices rising, and that is the inflation that we talk about.
All right, so that was pretty good. I think that I understood it a lot better now, just watching that for the third time. We do have, let's see, Jarlissa, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that. Appreciate your support. So yeah, I think it was a pretty good job of how he was laying things out. I did see some questions, and I do watch the chat while I'm watching the video, so just to see what people are saying. So people were saying, well, where does our money go? Like, where's our taxes going if it's not? That was Doe said that. Where does our money? Well, it goes to some of the bills, or it goes to pay for some things, but it just can't pay for everything because we're in a deficit. So it's just like when you have a credit card and the credit card is you keep spending on that credit card and you're only, well, how can I say this? You don't have enough money to pay your credit card off, so you're only paying a little bit at a time. So that's pretty much where we are. But is it worth it at this point? Do we invest in the people in a time of need? And I think yes. I think this is a situation where, in order for us to get out of the economy, because in order for us to get out of this situation, we are going to need an influx of money. Businesses need money. Individuals need money. Individuals will spend money at businesses, which will allow businesses to hire more people, and it'll have a good effect, a good positive effect for everyone. But if we don't give people money, well, now we're looking at a situation where businesses are just going to go under, because they're getting this money from PPP and all this stuff right now. But what happens when that money goes away and they don't have, you have people who don't have jobs and they're not paying, they're not keeping these businesses afloat. And so that's the whole reason why we're talking about stimulus. That's why they're calling it a stimulus check, because it's, I mean, well, they don't call it a stimulus check, but we've labeled it the term of stimulus check because it's to stimulate the economy and to keep us all afloat. So we'll have to see where they go with this. But I just thought that was a good video. Just kind of explains what's going on in the three different parts of this whole process. So you do have Congress that has to legislate and create these bills. And once they create these bills, then it goes over to the Treasury Department, and then the Treasury Department takes out a loan. And then that loan, the loan comes from the Fed, or it comes from other people too, or other entities, other countries, and whoever wants to take on that loan. But anyway, so I thought that was a good little demonstration there. Mary, thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. So let's. I want to show you my video, my exclusive video. I'll show it to you in probably about 10 minutes, but I want to go through and see what you guys have to say in the chat. So in the chat, if you have a question for me, just put @TEC and I will answer that question, or you can put @Travel Explore Click. And for those of you who don't know, TEC means Travel Explore Click. So it's just an easier way to say Travel Explore Click without having to say the whole thing. So that's the whole TEC thing. And Cakeology, he's funny, but this is a funny story. So he hit me up and he wanted to do a live stream on my channel. And at the time I was doing live streams, I was probably doing at least 2 or 3 a week. And so I said, yeah, sure, come on the show. And so he came on and we were talking. This is like a year and a half ago. And we were talking. And he kept calling me Tech. I'm like, why is he calling me Tech? And then finally I realized, okay, he's calling me Tech because of TEC, So I'm like, why is this guy calling me Tech? Does he not know what my name is? But yeah, so we get a kick out of that. I was on his show last week. So Cakeology, if you want to check that channel out, he's got some good content about business credit and how to get a business started and everything. But yeah, it was just funny. He kept calling me Tech, and I'm like, why is he calling me Tech? While I'm in this on this live stream. But yeah, it was pretty funny. All right, let's go ahead and get in here and see what we have. So like I said, if you guys have any questions, just put @TEC, and we'll get those questions answered for you. All right. And Miss Happy Apple, thank you very much. You are always so supportive and helping me out. All right. I have a question, too. Who's voting this year? Who is voting this year? That's what I want to know. And you don't have to tell me if you don't want. I know it's a personal thing, but if you want to share, just let me know. Are you voting or are you not voting? I've seen a lot of people that have been very upset with what's going on right now. And they're saying, I'm not voting. That's it. They're not getting any vote. Like, it's not that they're not getting my vote. They're just not, I'm not voting at all. This is why I don't vote. I hear that a lot. I think this is the reason why you should vote because of situations like this. Because you have politicians that have been in office. Some of them have been in office for a very long time, and they've gotten very comfortable in how things work, and they don't see there being issues when we're looking at them and saying, a recess? Are you kidding me? You just had a recess last month. You're having another one now, and then you're going to have another one? I mean, so when we're seeing this, and I understand the reason for a recess. I get it. I understand. But I don't think they're really doing what they're saying they're doing, and maybe there should be a little more oversight when it comes down to what an actual recess consists of. But they are supposed to go back to their home districts, and they're supposed to find out what's going on in their district, and it makes sense, right? So if you're in Washington D.C., you're not in touch with, or you lose touch with what's going on in your district, and you need to know those things. My whole thing is, if you go on recess, you have that office, you have that local office in your district, you should be there every day. And maybe they are. I don't know. But you should be there every day. You should be working your regular 8 to 5, whatever you normally work. There shouldn't be a situation where you go on your recess and you're just not working, or that's your time to kind of take off and do some of the things that you want to do. And I don't really see or hear politicians saying, well, yeah, when I'm on recess, this is what I'm doing, or this is my calendar and this is what I do when we go on recess. So I would be interested to see like what they're actually doing on recess. And even some of the politicians I've heard say call it vacation, or you use those terms, right? Not using recess, but they're using the actual term of vacation. So, and they might be using that just to, as a politician, right? So they might be saying, and I think the one that I did hear recently, they were using that as, the Senate is on vacation right now. We need to be back working for the people. That kind of stuff where you're attacking the other side. But yeah, I would be interested to know what's going on when it comes to them going on recess, and how much work are they actually doing. If I called right now, or if I went into my local congressman's his office, would he be there, or would he be expected to be there at all that day? I guess that's kind of where I'm going with it. All right, let's see. All right, so if you guys have questions, just put @TEC. And we're doing 2 more things. We're going to do a giveaway on the Discord right after the show. And then I'm also going to show you my exclusive video that I just found. Now, I got a new computer, and I've always had everything kind of everywhere when it comes to like my, you have the external hard drives, and I have a few big ones. And so I have a lot of footage from my trips to Colombia and stuff like that on these hard drives, these big hard drives. But I'm not always plugged into them because I'm using a laptop all the time. Well, now I have a desktop, and so I just plugged them all into the desktop, and then it just pulls up, and I have all this footage that I haven't seen for a while. So I found something. I was like, oh, this is great. I got to show this. I got to show this to everybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and get here. I started losing my focus here. So any questions, just put @TEC. So how do I rate the help that the government gave in the pandemic? And I cannot read your name, buddy. Sorry. Wowie. My grade, I look at it like this. I look at the overall numbers when it comes to deaths and cases. Not so much cases, but more deaths. And you compare that to some of the other large countries in the world. We did not do very well. And we continue to not do very well. I mean, we're 170-something thousand people have died from COVID-19 in the U.S. And when you compare that to other countries, it's sad. It's sad that we are a superpower, and we have all the resources available to us, and in my opinion, we did not get it right. We just didn't. Yeah. So I don't even know how you say a grade level. I'll just say this. I think we failed when it comes down to it. Can we do better? Yes, obviously. Yes, we can do better. And we can get out of this, and we will get out of this at some point, but just right now, yeah, I don't think this is an A+ or an A that some people might come out and say, oh no, we did an excellent job. No. We have numbers to prove that we didn't do an excellent job. And a lot of people will say, well, these other countries are not giving, right information. So every country in the world is giving wrong information. Our numbers, I think the last time I looked at our numbers, we were like 20% of the deaths in the world came from the U.S. 20%. And we don't make up 20% of the population of the world. So, Yeah, we need to do a better job about that. And then definitely looking at just the whole stimulus package debates and the stimulus checks and the not having the monthly stimulus checks like some other countries are they have. And I mean, we have Canada and Australia and some of these other countries doing a lot for the people, and it seems to be a struggle just to try to get something for the American people, which I think is just a tragedy in itself. All right, let's see. Matthew saying, what happened to the payroll tax cuts? Now that doesn't go into effect until September 1st, so it's still there. It's not really it's not a tax cut; it's a tax deferral. Yeah, so that executive order, if that's what you're talking about, September 1st, that's when it will start. This is going to be interesting. We're going to have to see if businesses are going to jump on board with this. I've heard that a lot of businesses they don't want to play. They don't want to play with this because they're going to be the ones that they're going to have to pay this money up and then have to tell their employees, hey, look, we're going to have to take additional funding or additional money out of your paycheck. So basically the way it works is right now that payroll tax goes, the business holds on, they hold that money. So 6.2%, whatever it is, they're going to hold that money and then they're going to send that money to the federal government. So when you get your check, they've already taken that money out and then they'll send that money to the federal government. So what they want to do is they want to release that money so the businesses will no longer hold on to it. It'll go straight to the individual. You'll get an extra 6.2%. Or around that area. I don't know if they have the exact number, but around that area, let's just say 6 to 7%, you'll get additional in your paycheck. And so it's a loan. It's deferred taxes. So it's something that you could have to pay back. And President Trump has indicated, well, if I get reelected, then we'll forgive it. Initially, he said, if I get reelected, we'll forgive it. And then he had to kind of back away from that and say, well, if I get reelected, then I'll fight to get it forgiven. Because Congress, they hold the purse, they have the money. They're the ones that, well, no one has the money, but they're the ones that determine where the money goes, I guess you could say, or where the debt goes. But anyway, he has to go through Congress in order to get this forgiven. So it could be a situation where you're getting this money, and then at the end of the year, then it's like, oh, you know what? Sorry, we couldn't get it forgiven. And let's say President Trump doesn't get reelected and he doesn't really care because he's not going to be in office. It's going to be Joe Biden's problem, right? And so it happens. We've been taking this money up until November, and then we find out, it'll be past November, but I'm just saying we get it until November, and then Trump doesn't get reelected. And so then now it's like, okay, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And now President Biden's going to have to come in and try to fix it. And of course, Congress will probably have to do something in order to make this right. But this is one of those things that didn't have to happen, but this is something that the president really wanted. He really wanted this payroll tax cut. So this is his only opportunity to get this payroll tax deferral where you're going to get more money in your pocket. You're going to be able to take out a loan, even though you didn't want a loan. I don't want a loan. Like I'm hoping my company doesn't want to do this because I don't want that extra money, like extra 6% that I'm going to have to pay back in the future, or could potentially have to pay back in the future if I don't even want it. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else do we have here. I've been voting by mail for a few years now. So it's upsetting to me that they're talking about closing the Postal Service. They're not talking. So, Mary, thank you for the question. They're not talking about closing the Postal Service. They're just reducing they're not doing this anymore. But prior to just last week, they were starting to, take away things. And it was going to make it more difficult for people to vote by mail and make it more difficult, because if you have less machines, and I talked a little bit about this, I worked at the post office for a couple of years, and I know how those machines work. And if you take one of those machines out, and back when last week when I talked about this, 55,000 pieces of mail can go through one mail sorter in an hour. So it just gives you, and when it goes through the mail sorter, it's sorting it to where it needs to go. So it will route it to where it needs to go. You just take it out, you put it in the big cages, you take it over to, and a lot of, like, you have these main facilities that they'll do the bulk of the sorting, because they have the equipment there. So you have some smaller post offices. You see these small post offices, you're like, how are they like processing all this mail? Well, a lot of the mail is being processed at the main facility, and then it's sent to the smaller post offices. And then once they get the mail, then they can take them out on the routes. So they're not closing them. They're just reducing the equipment that they have and taking out mailboxes and things like that. So really making it more difficult for, more inconvenient, I should say, for people to either get mail or, do the mail-in ballots and stuff like that. So hopefully they can get everything back up to speed, back to where it was in January, and hopefully we won't have any issues. All right, let's see. All right, guys, any other questions? Go ahead and put them in the chat. Where are they putting questions at? I don't know what that question, what do you mean? It's in the chat. If you have a question, just put it in the chat. God, I got to get another earpiece. This thing is starting to fall off. Okay, let's see. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions here. The kids, what did you want to know about the kids? The schools, going back to school, is that what you want to know? Yeah, that's going to be a big talk right now, coming up in the next month. I mean, you have kids already going back to school now, but what's going to happen with that whole school situation? And what are they going to do if they get a case? Are they going to shut the school down? How is that all going to play out? That's going to be something that's going to be interesting to see. I guess we're going to be here looking at this, and I know in certain areas, my sister is a teacher, and they're not doing schooling right now, we're not actually physically going to school. They're going to do the virtual learning for a little bit, and then go back to the normal school setting, or I won't even say normal school setting, because the school settings are going to change. I don't even know how I could only imagine like how that will change. I know in my office alone, like it's changed. Like we have the little plexiglass. I don't have my own office, so I have a plexiglass, so we're separated, and yeah, it's kind of crazy how things are. But yeah, we'll have to see what goes on with school. So Maxine's asking, how do we enter the giveaway? All you need to do is join our Discord, and you have to have a Cash App. So if you have Cash App, you'll have a Cash App ID. What I'm going to do is I'll go in the room after the show, and then I'm going to ask someone to, the first person or the second person or third person, I'll let you guys know when we do it. They need to put their Cash App ID, plus I'll have an emoji. And I'm not telling you what the emoji is, but I'll have a certain emoji. I'll put that in there. You have to put all that together and send that to me. And then if you're the, whatever number I call, if it's the seventh person, if you're the seventh person, then you'll win the $50. Budget deadlines, the end of September. So that's going to be another issue. And I think you're referring to the budget, the government budget. So they're going to have budget talks when they start in September. The end of September, they're going to have a budget plan. If they don't, then we're going to be on a shutdown. I don't even want to think about that right now. We'll talk more about that as it gets closer. But if we're in a situation where we don't have a stimulus package and we have this government shutdown debate, it's just going to be, oh my God. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. Carol, thank you for being here, Carol. Is SSI, SSDI going to be affected? At this point, we don't have a stimulus check. I think you're referring to stimulus checks. We don't have a stimulus check yet, so we don't know like what the requirements are going to be. With all the proposals that we've seen, it's not going to affect SSI or SSDI. You guys will still qualify for a stimulus check if that were to happen. So all the proposals that we've seen, they've had it in there. The only proposal that doesn't have anything for SSI, SSDI doesn't have anything, period, when it comes to stimulus checks. So that's the little skinny bill that they're talking about right now. That doesn't have a stimulus check in it at all, so no one gets anything. All right. Kanye invest. I like that. What do you think about? All right, I don't talk about stocks. That's one thing I don't talk about. All right, so I don't know. That's just not me. You can go to some other channels. They'll talk about stocks, but that's not my thing. I do a little stocks on my own, but yeah, the last thing I want to do is give you some advice and you go and lose all your money. Grace is saying that Mitch McConnell is 78. Okay. All right. All right. Any other questions? Go ahead and put in the chat. And I'm going to show you guys that last video. I have to set it up before I show you, or talk about it a little bit before I show you. Carol says, thanks. You're welcome. No problem. Let's see. On SSI, I received an email from SSA. I don't know what you're referring to, Enrique. So if you could elaborate a little bit. Mary's asking about Russia. Do I think Russia will be involved in our election? I mean, the intelligence agencies they're in fear that that's going to happen. So I have no clue when it comes to Russia being involved, and all I know is what I hear from what's out there. But there is concern, according to our government. All right, guys, any last questions? And then we'll go to the video, and then we're going to go over to the Discord. Linda's asking, why is Mitch McConnell not in the negotiations? He has suddenly disappeared. He disappeared or became silent before the recess. Yeah, you know, I could talk about that forever and ever. I mean, yeah, he should be in the room. There is no reason why he should not be in the negotiating room. No reason at all. And that is a huge problem when you have a leader of the Senate that doesn't want to participate in his key role as a leader in the Senate is to legislate and to get everything together. That is his key role. That's the reason why, if you have the majority, that's the reason why people are voting for you to become the leader of the Senate, is because you can get things together. You are you're the figurehead that goes in and does the negotiating and all that kind of stuff. It just amazes me that he's not there. I don't know, like that's what I'm talking about. Like our government being broken in a situation where like this should not be happening. And if it's been happening for years and years and years, it should not have been that way. And now we see it because we're really focused on it. But they should always be in the room. They should always be in the room. And if they can't make it for that day, they should do a phone conference or something. It's just amazing. And Laura says, thanks for the update. You're welcome. Have a good night. And Jose is saying, let's see, TC, why can't the Democrats or Republicans write a standalone bill in the House or Senate? So, Jose, the Democrats just did. They just did with this Postal Service bill. That was a standalone bill that they sent through. But and the Republicans on the Senate side, they have the skinny bill, so they have a few things in the skinny bill. So they can do that. Yeah, they can do it all they want, but it has to be. Everything is going to have to go through the Senate right now. The Senate is going to have to start moving on some of this stuff, because if they just keep not doing anything, then nothing's going to happen. Like you can't have the House approving things, sending it over to the Senate, and then the Senate doing nothing with it. We're not going to have anything. So that's where we are. We're looking at the Senate right now and saying, hey, you guys need to come up with something. If you don't like what's presented, that's fine. Come up with something else. Get it approved. The big problem that they're having right now is you have senators in the GOP, Republican senators that aren't getting along with each other. Some senators don't want another stimulus package. Some senators do. And so they're at odds, because ideally the way that it would work is if you have a majority, you should be able to get things done. Now, this is a small majority, a small majority, and it's like 3 votes. With the vice president, you have 4, but you don't have a large majority, but you still have a majority. So if you have something as a leader, if you stand up, as Mitch McConnell as a leader, if he stands up and says, look, this is the way we're going about this. You guys are all going to vote this way because this is for, whatever. If he has enough power as a leader, he can get those votes. Right now, he's not able to get those votes because you have half of these senators, or almost half the senators. They don't want another stimulus package, so they're not even entertaining anything. That was another reason why they want to do the skinny bill, right? You do a skinny bill, you kind of take out some stuff, you put some stuff in there. There's no stimulus checks. There's some stuff that needs to happen, like the enhanced unemployment, but if you make it at $300 instead of $600, maybe you can pull in some of those GOP senators that are kind of, they're not really for another stimulus package, but if you have something that's, not that expensive, I guess, $5 billion or $500 billion instead of $1 trillion, maybe they'll be open to it. So that's one of the reasons why they wanted to get the skinny bill through too, because they want to see, okay, well, maybe we can pull a few more of these Republicans in and get something done. Let's see. Kanye Invest is asking my independent. You know what? I don't even talk about party affiliation. The main reason that I don't is because people want to label you a certain way. And if you just say, oh, yeah, well, I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican, and then you're just going to have people just come out, okay, they're going to think of the worst thing that they can possibly think to justify why they're right in situations. The way that I look at a lot of this stuff, especially when it comes to politics, and I've always been this way, when I majored in political science and was in school and stuff like that, there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. Right now, there's a lot of wrong that I'm seeing in how things are being done. And that's what I focus mainly on. And if I see someone and I think that they're doing things the way that I would want them to do things, then that's the person that I'll vote for. But yeah, people, they're quick. They're quick to just shut you down. Oh, you're a Republican. Just like, President Trump does this all the time, right? You see this all the time when he's talking to the press, the liberal media, all that stuff, when he puts all that stuff out there. And something I've never seen this before from a president, but he does it and he gets away with it. And he's always asking them, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? Like if someone's asking him questions, where are you from? Where are you from? Before he even answers the question. So he's already in his mind setting it up to say, well, no, this is, you're not a real reporter or what have you. The question could be valid, right? The question could be a really good question. Why does it matter where that person's coming from? If they have a good question, they have a good question. Answer the question. But he's always doing that in press conferences. Where are you from? Where are you from? It's like, it's just, oh man. I don't know. It's crazy. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and show. I'm gonna show you this video. So let me set this up for you, just so you guys know. Let's see. We got a troll in the room. We need to get out of here. All right. Okay. So let me set this up. So I was in Colombia February. I went out there February 20th. Okay, so went out there February 20th, and at that time, and just so you guys know, my channel has grown really fast, but it took a long time to get to 10,000 subscribers. It took me forever. I've been doing this. I've been on this channel, or I've had this channel for 9 years. And I got serious about the channel about 4 years ago. I started doing more content, stimulus check stuff, or not stimulus check stuff, travel stuff. Then I started doing travel credit card stuff, and then I started doing the stimulus stuff. But before that, it took me a long time, like 4 years of really, really working hard, doing videos, doing a lot of live streams last year, and it took me a long time to get to this 10,000 subscribers. So it was a huge deal for me. And I even had last year, so some of the people who've been watching me for a while, last year I called it the road to 10,000. I should have brought the little sign. I have it in the other room. But I had the road to 10,000. I was trying to get to 10,000. It was in August. I was at like 6,600 subscribers, and I was trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by December, by my birthday, December 28th. So that's my birthday if you guys want to send me a gift. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so I wanted to get to 10,000 subscribers by that date. Now, I didn't hit that date, okay? I went over. I didn't hit 10,000 subscribers until this year. It was like February. I want to say it was like I probably have the date of when I shot that video. Let's see here. Will it show me? Let me go into my details real quick, see if I can. Oh, it doesn't show. Well, hold on. When did I shoot that video? Okay, there it is. February 26th. So I hit 10,000 subscribers on February 26th. And so, I was all excited. And I've told the story before, but I was in a car, and we were on our way to La Guajira. We were in Colombia. We're on our way to La Guajira region, but we were going in and out of signal, like cell phones, because we were like out in the middle of nowhere. And so we would get a signal, then we'd lose a signal, get a signal, lose a signal. And so I got a signal, and I saw that I hit 10,000. And so I found the video where I actually, I was going to do like a whole video of this, but I couldn't find this one. And so I finally found it. So I'm going to share that with you guys. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that right now. What's going on, everybody? So I just hit 10,000 subscribers. Really excited. Right now we're right outside of Barranquilla, on our way to La Guajira. And yeah, thank you guys all for your support. I really appreciate it. And I've been waiting for this for a long time. Trust me, when it comes to getting subscribers and building a channel, it's a lot of hard work, and I really appreciate the fact that you guys are all here to support me and to let me know what I'm doing right, let me know what I'm doing wrong. It just means the world. So we're on our way. I just wanted to stop and say this real quick because I just reached that 10,000 subscribers, and I'm very, very happy about it. And let me show you guys, I'll show you some footage of where we are right now. We are, what, do you know what this town is?
Pueblo Viejo.
What is it, Pueblo?
Pueblo Viejo, Ciénaga, Magdalena.
What is it?
Pueblo Viejo, like a old
Oh, this is Pueblo Viejo
in Magdalena.
in Magdalena. So we're out there. We're out in the streets, the real streets of Colombia. But yeah, just wanted to thank everybody, and it means the world to me. And this is a short video. I just wanted to put that out there, and I'll do some more videos later. I have plenty of videos coming as far as Colombia. I'm still working on the videos from Carnival that just happened, and I'll be putting out some videos in La Guajira and Santa Marta and Palomino, wherever we go, we'll be putting out videos. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye. All right, so that was the time when I hit 10,000, and yeah, it was an amazing feeling. It really was. But then, like I said, you guys see that I, from February 26th to now, I've really grown the channel, and I've changed some of the content. So I talk more about the stimulus check stuff now. It's really popular, and so that's what really made my channel take off. But yeah, so that was a good time. And I, you know, you start, one of the things, and I've always done this, and I do this with my family, and you know, I think sometimes they get a little frustrated with me, or at least my sister does. But I record a lot of stuff, and anytime we're having any gatherings and stuff like that, I'm always at the camera, take pictures and record, because it's good to like look back at stuff. And even though this was only a few months ago, just to look back at it, it kind of takes you back into that time, and you kind of enjoy it all over again and just see the excitement and stuff like that. So anyway, I wanted to share that exclusive video with you guys, and I appreciate all your support. It just means the world to me. I'm having a good time doing these videos and live streams and all that stuff. If you didn't know, like, you might think, oh, well, you just started doing live streams. No, I've been doing, last year I was doing a lot of live streams, and I got to the point where there were two things. The software just wasn't there. Like, the software that I was using at the time was just not good, and I wasn't prepared to do live streams and regular videos at the same time. I didn't have a good workflow. And so what I found myself doing is live streams instead of videos, and I didn't want to do that. So now I have a better workflow. I know, like earlier today, I can put out a video and I can do a live stream in the same day with no problems. Whereas before it was like, I just found myself, okay, I'm just doing live streams now. I'm not even doing regular videos. And so that's the main reason why I had to stop doing the live streams the way that I was doing them before. But yeah, I appreciate all your support. Elizabeth, thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Let's see. Karen saying changes it. Yeah, I haven't done that. I haven't asked you guys that. You know what? I'll do that tomorrow for sure. We'll be back on tomorrow, live stream tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we'll do the color change. I haven't been putting colors on there, but I need to start doing that again. So I will get to that. And I do have a video. I have not edited the video yet. I'm going to edit a short little video for members only, and I'll be putting that out to you guys. Just kind of letting you know what to expect and what's coming up next when it comes to that. So any other questions? We'll be on here about 2 more minutes, and then we're going to go over to the Discord. And before 9 p.m., we will give away $50 before 9 p.m. All right? And it's going to be, unfortunately for right now, it's going to be the last giveaway, and then we'll have to see. We'll have to see where we go with the giveaways. But for those of you who don't know, I was giving away my stimulus check. I had it on my Cash App. I had $1,200. We've given all that money away, so we're down to the last $50. And so we'll have to see what we can do in the future. We don't have another stimulus check coming up. What's going on? If we had another stimulus check, then we'd have some more money. But I anticipated that we would have something by now, or at least have something confirmed by now, and be waiting on it. But yeah, that's not happening. All right, what's going on? Just say, okay. I saw here, like, I'm scanning through the things, and that's one of the things when you're doing a live stream, and it's crazy when you're talking and all of a sudden people can't hear you, and then they say, oh, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, turn the mic on. All right. Thank you guys all for your support. Thank you all. So we'll go over to the Discord right now, and we'll do the giveaway, and then tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be back. We got over 1,000 likes, so thank you guys all for doing the like, or hitting the like button. If you have not hit that like button, please do, because once we leave here, it will promote it out to more people so they can see the see the rebroadcast, I guess you can call it. That last video that we did, that 3-hour video, it's close to 40,000 views, which is very good. So I appreciate all that support. Aziza, what's going on? Good to see you. I love that name. So anytime I see her name come up, that's a unique name. So I always got to give her a shout out. Let's see. Lorraine's asking, what do I think will happen? Well, nothing's going to happen until September 8th. That's when the Senate comes back from recess. They are not coming back early. So we have the Republican National Convention coming up this week. So I'm sure there'll be some talk going on. I want to know, I want to see the next reporter ask Trump about the stimulus checks. That's what I want to see. I've been waiting for that. President Trump was on earlier today, had a press conference, answered 3 questions, and he was out the door. There's things, there's reasons why his sister was recorded saying some things that weren't positive about the president, and so I think he wanted to avoid that. So let me pick a few reporters that I'm familiar with that will ask me softball questions and then get out of there before someone asks me a question about my sister or anything like that. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take off. Thank you guys all for being here. We'll be on tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some good news for tomorrow. But that's it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.